Well, it looks like I can go ahead and get started. Welcome in, everybody. It is Sunday evening, the 19th of March, 2023. I'm Roy Potter. Again, welcome as you come in. This wasn't scheduled, but I saw some things going on, and I thought, I just have to come on and just kind of comment on the absurdity of it all. First course of action, though, is to show you my new cup. And there's a story behind this, and I thought I'd like to tell it to you. And 5x5, thank you very, very much. I am about out of power on my phone, so here in a minute I'm going to have to take the time. Well, hopefully, actually, I hope I can make it through this entire uh, video, this entire live stream without putting in the power, but I've got it ready to go in case I do, okay? All right. The story behind this, I had a couple of friends, they both did it at about the same time. It was because of some things that I was saying on some videos, I guess, within the last week. And they texted me and they said, Roy, you really are a badass. And this is, has nothing to do with my face hair and beard and all that, growing my hair and all that, which I'm doing for another reason, which I really haven't explained too well, but it has to do with some camera work, let's put it that way. At any rate, set up for martial law. Yeah, a lot of bad things going on. But at any rate, so they said, man, you really are a badass, your army, your police, the fact that you do the things you do here and the things you say, et cetera, et cetera. Well, at any rate, I ran into some people. I got to fix something here. I ran into some people at a function that I had here just the last couple of days. It was actually a party. Yeah, I go to parties. And they owned they own the Badass Coffee Company franchise uh, here in Salt Lake. And if you don't know what the Badass Coffee Company is, they basically sell coffee of Hawaii. You can kind of see that right there. I actually, when my wife Carol and I were in Kauai, actually it was less than a year before she died, and we just decided to take that trip just when she could. She was starting to have a lot of problems at that point. But we went to Kauai and went to the Kona coffee farm. We actually went there. I have some pictures of it and some things. And if I had a good internet connection, I'd do a video, a live stream with OBS, online streaming software, and put up some of the pictures there because it was really interesting how they sculpted the shrubbery and the trees and some other things. When we tried the coffee, of course, it was great. Well, anyway, so I'm familiar with the Badass Company, which sells principally the Kona coffee beans in different. You can buy it 100% Kona, or you can buy blends where they just use a certain amount depending upon how much you want to pay because it's really expensive. A pound of Kona, pure Kona coffee beans run about a pound of it is like it's like $60-$70. It's not cheap, so they usually blend it in with some other coffees just to lower the price a little bit. But at any rate, so they own this coffee shop. There used to be two of them in Salt Lake, but during the shutdown, the lockdown situation, one of them failed. These people owned one of the franchise in the other part of town, and they managed to squeak by. But they are now the only Badass Coffee Company location in Salt Lake. And I went over there this morning and saw this cup, and of course I knew about the Badass Coffee Company. I've been to the old location several times. I didn't know that this new one had opened up, and so I'm perusing in there and talking with them and things, and I see this cup, and considering what these two friends texted me in the last week or so, I thought, well, that's pretty good. And with the donkey, I don't know if you know what the significance of the donkey is with the Badass Coffee Company, but it has to do with the donkeys that the coffee farmers use to haul the beans off the property and take them down for processing, and then for shipping. And they called their donkeys Badass donkeys because they were they could depend upon them. They were kind of, I guess, stubborn, but they were really, really strong. So they really did a good job. So they have the donkey as their mascot. But it kind of goes along with my substitute for the word. And I'm not going to say it here. Sometimes I slip when I get angry and I'll say it. But the word that rhymes with duck but starts with an F, and instead of saying that you, which I think kind of degrades what I consider to be a blessing, that is the special relationship between men and women, especially that very intimate spot. I don't like to use that word if I can get by it, but at any rate, so I substituted it for dip, which is uh, uh, donkey phallus posterior penetration. And some of you who followed me for a long time know that. So that goes along with my badass attitude as well. So anyway, here's to you all, and this is just coffee. Okay, yeah, this late at night, I can't have badass coffee or anything else but badass coffee in my badass coffee cup. Hopefully, it doesn't keep me up too late tonight. BP Earthwatch, Jesse, Roy, is it too damn cold here tonight? Hey, it's cold here. Notice how I'm dressed? Things started warming up. We thought spring was on the way, and then dang, the temperature dropped again, and here we are. So there's that. Okay, I just wanted to bring that up in the description box below for those of you who come to Salt Lake. None of these are in Wyoming, I'm afraid. Not that I'm aware of anyway, but in Salt Lake, the Badass Coffee Company is on 7800 South and about 13th West. It's actually about 1275 to 1280 West. Most of you will say so. So I've included in the description box below the location of that coffee company. So if I have any listeners here in Wyoming and Utah and even eastern Nevada or southern Idaho, if you want to stop by at the Badass Coffee Company on your way wherever you're going, it's a great place. I can't believe how well they've decorated. Well, first of all, it's state of the art, and there goes my battery. I knew it was going to run out here pretty soon, so pardon me for a minute. They have just made it the cleanest, most friendly, elegant, really, coffee shop I've ever been to. It puts all of the others, and I'm not going to name them here, it puts all the others I've seen to shame. And of course, the products are really good. So if you'd like to stop by there, again, it's Salt Lake City. It's in West Jordan, 7800 South, and at about 13th West. Actually, about 1275, 1280 West. The address that is given in the box below is actually on the side street that the address is actually for, but the location is where I'm telling you. So it's a little difficult to get to off of 7800 South because there's a concrete divider. So you gotta, if you're going west on 7800 South, you won't have any problem. You can turn in, but it's real easy to miss. It's on the bottom of a large apartment. Well, it's a condo complex, and it's in the bottom floor, but it's right on 7800 South. You can see it, but the address is different, so it might kind of fool you. But if you're going west on 7800 South, you can turn right into it. If you're coming east on 7800 South for any reason, you can turn left at 13th West, but then you got to figure out, the way in from back there, and it's a little complicated. So I just come down from 13th West there as you're headed east, and just get past the concrete divider. You'll see it, and you can turn left in there. Be a little careful. The traffic on 7800 South is nuts. But I wanted to give that plug because it really is the finest coffee shop I've been to anywhere, anytime, and I thought I'd like to give it a plug. Plus, kind of goes along with, I guess, my badass attitude, as my friend said. Okay, let me get into the real reason that I'm on here tonight. Oh, by the way, that's going to be my coffee shop from now on. So you never know when you might find me there, okay? Just saying, all right? Okay. I've been following things, of course, for the last few days. I haven't said much, we've been talking about, scriptural things and spiritual stuff to some extent. with a little bit of world events, but I'm leaving that world event stuff primarily to you all because I've given you the people that you can follow for some good information. However, every once in a while something comes up and I just have to say something. I could talk about the banks that are continuing to fail and why they're letting this happen, and of course, the digital currency they want and all this kind of nonsense, tracking you, surveilling you. We find out, of course, that the the surveillance intelligence community has been using the weapons of war that they've formulated and put together for supposedly protecting us from foreign enemies. They've turned that in onto us, and we've been warning about that for a long time. Even some of the founding fathers knew that that would be the case eventually. And so we are the enemy of the state, whether you realize it or not. The people are the enemy of the state. The state has its own life and its own desire to exist, number one. Two, to flourish and to grow, and to subdue anything that might stand in its way. And one of those things is the people. The people being, well, you see what they're doing to people that are dissenting about what the government does. The government doesn't answer to the people anymore. It answers to oligarchical interests, money, the stock market, the banks, right? Not you. And anybody who thinks otherwise, you just don't know what's going on. What's this, Michael Portnoy? Portnoy, coward. if I have and I know Jesse's on here. Hey Jesse, I don't know who Michael Portnoy is calling a coward, but if he's calling me that, he can go away. I'd get rid of him, but I have a hard time doing that on here. So if you feel inclined to throw off Michael Portnoy, unless he can really quick explain what he's talking about, maybe he's talking to somebody else, but I kind of doubt it. You can throw him off. By the way, the name Portnoy is kind of interesting. There's been a character in the news lately about that. And Roy, I wish you would look into my information. Okay, well, I'm not talking about religious stuff tonight. Okay. All right. So over the years, and the reason why I named this video what I did, why are they surprised that things have turned out the way they have? For years, if you remember, back in the 70s, I believe it was, China got most favored nation status. All of our manufacturing was being even encouraged by leaders in the United States, including, I might add, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, to move over to China because cheap labor. I mean, look, where are all the tech companies, especially the phone companies, right? They all moved over there. Trump was trying to get them to come back, but I don't think that was ever entirely successful. But the point is, all of this manufacturing and all of this real power isn't in fiat currency that you can print up anytime you want. It's in your ability to make products that you can hold in your hand, that you can use. And all of that went to China. Almost all of it. Our manufacturing capability is about zero. As a matter of fact, Europe, what little manufacturing they had left, primarily, like BMW, Mercedes, the few things that Europe put out, they're now having a problem because the United States destroyed the Nord Stream pipeline. So now they don't have the energy to keep that going. And the U.S. and NATO wants all those nations to start sanctioning China, which is Europe's biggest export location. And they import a lot from China too. So in other words, the West, years ago, in their efforts to subdue their own people, which is really what this was about, moved the manufacturing and all that to China. And now we've got the brilliance of John Kirby, who's the Pentagon spokesman. I think he's a rear admiral. I think he's only a 1-star. He may have made it to 2. I don't know, but at any rate, he's an admiral, and he speaks not with much authority. He doesn't seem to actually have a handle on much of anything. I'm really not surprised. I'm not real impressed with flag officers, as most of you know. But this just came out probably yesterday. I saw it on my Twitter line today. It says, the U.S. National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications, John Kirby, said Russia and China are trying to destabilize the international order that has existed since World War II. Well, Admiral John Kirby, you can put that accusation right back on your own brown nose. Because the fact of the matter is, our own people have been sending everything with the ability, and our own people, I'm talking about political leaders, oligarchs, billionaires, corporations, have been encouraging for many years now to build up China. Even Hillary Clinton said, you know, what the Chinese are doing is really smart. They're the future. You had your own boss, John Kirby, General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, call his counterpart in China saying that, don't worry about Trump. If he's going to attack you, I'll let you know. Treason. Treason. Mark Milley even said, although a lot of people have forgotten about this, China's not our enemy. They're just our business competitors. It's actually true. But now they want to go to war with China because they're getting screwed so bad in Ukraine. But you see, the end result of all this, as this proves what John Kirby said, you're going to tell me that these brilliant people in D.C. didn't know that by them helping what they considered to be a possible enemy, China, to become the manufacturing center for the world, wouldn't come back and bite them in their ass. Of course they knew it, because they're taking care of themselves. The end objective, the end target of all this, as I have said for a very long time, are the people of the United States and of the Western world, to take us down. I'm not going to name any specifics here. You all should know what I'm talking about. They've attacked our moral fiber. They've taken us down a road of degeneracy, corruption, debauchery. They've even used us to commit mass murders around the world in the name of, we're an international force for good. And after giving all of this ability for Russia and China to destabilize their, John Kirby's and the leaders of the West, their international order that has existed since World War II, they may as well have put the gun to their own head and pulled the trigger, because they're the ones responsible for it. And now they're crying the blues because they're losing a grip on it. Everybody's leaving. Saudi Arabia is now dealing with Russia and with Iran and China. But I don't look at any of this as being an accident or unforeseen. And I've said this for a long time. They're not that stupid. This was all on purpose. How Russia and China might be culpable in this entire conspiracy, I am not prepared to say. All I can say is, if they see an opportunity to take over the market, as any corporation would, they'll do it. But we gave them, our leaders gave them the ability to do it, and even praised them for it, and even encouraged our own businesses to relocate to China in one way or another. And I still maintain that this has all been on purpose to take down the West. Now, you know, there's a truth to the fact that, and there are some people that say that you can't you can't really call things evil or good because you don't really know. And we're going to talk about, I'm going to have my son back on, Jeremy. We're going to talk about the idea of truth, evil, and good, um, probably next weekend. I'm not really sure, but we're going to take about an hour and do a live stream. No call-ins. It'll just be on the chat because of the subject matter. But we're going to talk about this problem with evil and good, and if you really can tell what it is, and how you can identify it. Well, the fact of the matter is that I think that there is an evil power that has seen this opposition and played it to the hilt to destroy life, to destroy what has been accomplished in the world. You know, the carrying capacity of the earth is a lot larger than these environmentalists, I'll just put it that way, claim. Do you realize that even in the times of the Greek uh, governments in Greece, you know, Athens, Sparta, those places, they were talking about overpopulation then. This particular group of people, these academics, these people that are always looking for power, they've been claiming this thing about overpopulation for many, many years. And all it is a justification to get their agenda into place. It has nothing to do with them wanting to save the world, to save the earth. It has nothing to do with that. And I'm not going to go into the history of it, and I know I'm bouncing around a bit, but where I'm going to this with this is coming back around and saying, so John Kirby is saying that Russia and China are trying to destabilize the international order that has existed since World War II. Well, first of all, what international order is that? It's basically what they now call the rules-based order, that the U.S. and NATO, the Western people, basically, not even the people themselves, but the leaders that dictate to the world what they can and cannot do. And what business do they have of doing that? Why? And now they're seeing the possibility of an end to it when they themselves set it up, as I just explained, so that China could take that, and of course Russia and Saudi Arabia and Iran. And the goon, Sean Hannity, has the nerve to say that the new axis of evil is Russia, China, Iran, Syria, and I'm sure eventually Saudi Arabia will be added to that. Sean Hannity shows more and more that he is either an imbecile or he is a tool of the deep state. He is a tool of the corrupt inner workings of Western governments. Our own people that are now complaining about it as if they couldn't see it happening, who actually set up the mechanisms so that the international world order since World War II would be destroyed, are now complaining about it because they're going to do some nasty stuff to you. And they're going to blame it on China and Russia and Saudi Arabia and India. I left out India in that group of. I'm jumping around a bit, so I must be saying something they don't like, or I'm having problems with the internet. So I won't stay on much longer. The hypocrisy and the corruption of our government officials and those in the deep state, in the bureaucracies, are their corruption and degeneracy, debauchery, downright evil is so bad that they just can't even hide it to people that have the least bit of effort to examine it, as I'm showing you tonight. As I've often said, we have sold our birthright for a bowl of porridge. And that porridge, that bowl of porridge, we ate a long time ago. And now we're borrowing against it with nothing to back it up. Just wanted to bring that up tonight. I better go before I totally lose the connection. I know I'm always the bearer of these types of messages, but they're prima facie, in your face, manifest. It's obvious. And the only excuse can be, well, let's just say that they made agreements with Saudi Arabia and China, as supposedly they did, right? And that they can blame China and Saudi Arabia for not going against the international world order because they want to be able to keep, and I'm talking about these folks here, keep raping the world, starting unjust wars to force people into a banking system. Is that the international order you're talking about, John Kirby? This nasty, corrupt banking system that the West has? Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, that's it. And the hegemony of the United States, which doesn't deserve it because it's already abrogated its own principles. It doesn't even stand for the original principles anymore. So we've sold our birthright, emptied the bowl of porridge, gave it to our supposed adversaries, and now we're crying about it. Really, John Kirby, you're a disgrace, and you are the coward. What's his face who called me a coward on there? I think it was me he was calling a coward. I don't remember who that was right now. I think you need to send that information to John Kirby and Biden, for that matter, his entire White House staff, the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, and the Department of Justice. They're the ones that need all that. And what are they doing? They're hiding behind a lie to take you down. Oh, Michael Portnoy, you're still on here. Michael, were you talking about me? Huh? Were you talking about me? Michael Portnoy? Huh? You've probably answered down further, I think. Then somebody here wants me to comment. No, I'll look at this. I'm not sure what he's talking about. I wish you would look into my information. Isaiah 24:23. Charmaine, yeah, okay. I'll look at it here real quick. I think I already have, but I gotta refresh my memory. No, we're not gonna do a scriptural thing tonight, but I am curious to see what it is you're talking about. 24:23. Isaiah 24:23. Then the moon shall be confounded and the sun is shamed. Oh, you're talking about the way okay. That means something different than it's going to be tumbling over head over heels, Charmaine. I'll just explain it that way because I don't want to get into that tonight. So consider that your answer. It's not that the moon's doing the somersaults. Okay, that's not what it's talking about. That's not what it's talking about at all. Some people, it's really amazing to me, Christians, there are those who want to take every word in the Bible as literal. And then there are those that want to take it all allegorical. And the truth is right in between. Okay? And in this case, it's not what you think. All right? And Michael Portnoy, I don't know if you're talking about me, so let's just see if I can find you on here. Roy, he said DeSantis is a coward, not you. Well then he should have said DeSantis is a coward, okay? Not just put up coward. Because then I see that and I think, oh, is he talking to me? And I asked, who is he talking to me? So if you're going to put up a pejorative like that, name the person that you're talking about, okay? I mean, that's just common sense, Portnoy. Okay. Thank you, Soul Love, for explaining that. DeSantis was who he called a coward, and Devin explained that as well. Okay, thank you. So DeSantis is a baby rhino. I know. DeSantis voted for the Iraq War. He voted for the Iraq War. That's not what I meant. Syria. Anyway, in Congress, he was a war hawk. Yeah, he was. And of course, he tries to say that he wasn't behind the whole OWS thing initially, but he shut down Florida. He sure as hell did. Sure as hell did. Has he repented, or is he just getting on the rebound, preparing for his political future? I don't trust any of them, and I think you all know that. I don't get out here and sing praises to DeSantis, you know, or any of them. If they're in a position now of political power of any kind, it's because, you know, somebody's helping them out. And it's all to our detriment in the end. Who is Esau Edom? I don't want to get into that either. All right. It's not the United States as a whole. It's not talking about that. Um, I know there are people out there that talk about the. Well, anyway, I don't want to get into that tonight. That's not my purpose here. Okay, Debbie Donovan's here. Hi, Debbie. I didn't see you, but hi. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Well, DeSantis is, you know, he pushed that whole thing that you can't criticize that country you're talking about that's over here. You can't criticize it because that's anti-Semitic, and that's bullshit. Even the Torah Jews know that's bullshit. But that, you know, who you can't, and there are people, I'll agree with them on this, the people that you can't criticize are the people that rule you, right? In one way or another. It's true. And I'm not going to get into all that. All I'll say is that there's a lot of information about this Ukraine situation that is very suspicious. Okay, I'm just going to say that. As I've said a couple times, they're emptying out Ukraine of white Christians. It's exactly what they're doing. All right, that's all I've got. Remember what I told you about with the Badass Coffee Company on 78th South and about 13th East. It's on the east side of 13th East. It's actually on the northeast corner behind the Maverick Station. If you see the Maverick Station, it's just a stone's throw from there on the same side. All right, if you have a reason to be in that area. Black Hebrew Israelites say that Esau Edom is the white man. Yeah, I know. That's not true. Not at all. But I'm not going to get into that discussion tonight. Okay, all right. That's all I got for you. We've already gone for almost 35 minutes. I didn't want to do that. Yeah, it's spring. Yeah, hi, Walter. How you doing? I did get your message. I'll try to get back to you. I'm having a few problems elsewhere. Hey, Felicia's here. Hi, Felicia. How you doing? You may be interested in knowing that my son and I are going to bring up a subject that has been a subject on some discussions about truth, evil and good. We're gonna get into that probably next weekend. I'm not sure what day, just so that you know. Okay, he has some really good insights into this thing. As you know, I have a lot of respect for my son Jeremy. Oh, thank you, Felicia, targets and all that. He is spectacular, and sometimes, you know, they say like father, like son. Well, in this case, I think, well, my son set up a real example here. So anyway, that's kind of how it is. All right, I got to go. Y'all take care. We'll see you next time out here. Don't trust John Kirby and tell him that the international order that's been around since World War II, they have destroyed, because they've ruined their reputation. They lie to the world. They take advantage of people. They get into these countries and then rape them. That's the international order you're proud of, John Kirby? Go get dipped. I already explained what that was, right? I already explained what that was. Out here for now.